Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Apple Watch Series 10 and compare it against the Apple Watch SE second generation and see which particular Apple Watch is the better one for you. Now, the very first thing I'd probably tell every single person out there is that if you have all the money in the world, please go for the Apple Watch Series 10. That is probably going to be a better Apple Watch, probably for the average person out there. And that is the one I'd recommend a vast majority of people to go and pick up. But if you want to save some money, the Apple Watch SE 2 is also a very good option. I will be leaving both these, Apple Watches linked down in the description below, so you can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these particular watches, the first thing to keep in mind is that these two watches are a little bit different. With something like the Apple Watch SE 2, the cheapest model here is about $249, where the cheapest Apple Watch Series 10 is $399. So there's like a $150 difference between these two watches. So please keep that in mind. If you're planning on going through and picking up a watch, keep in mind that something like the Series 10 is going to be significantly more expensive in this particular situation. Now, another big thing to keep in mind are the bodies. So the Apple Watch SE 2, on the front side of that particular watch, it comes out in two different sizes, either the 40mm size or the 44mm size. So the cheapest one is that 40mm size, and the thing I can definitely tell you about that particular watch and that display is that it's not terrible and it's not bad. It's a 1000 nits of brightness display, so it's not the worst thing of all time. There's definitely been, significantly better panels than this thing, but it's not a terrible display either. And if you're going to go through and pick up a, watch, it's not a bad display, right? It gets the job done. A little bit more bezel on it than something like the Apple Watch Series 10, but it's a good display nonetheless. But the Apple Watch Series 10 is definitely significantly better. That type of device and that type of display is giving you a 42mm or a 46mm display size inside of it. And that is a really good type of device panel to have in it, right? It's bigger, less bezel on that particular watch, but also the big thing here too, it's giving you twice the amount of brightness inside of that display. The Apple Watch Series 10 is giving you it's giving you 2000 nits of brightness inside of that display. It's also giving you up to 40% brighter viewing angles when you're viewing at it, which that in and of itself is another really big thing. So there are a lot of improvements and there's so much capability behind these types of watches from that side. So definitely with something like the Apple Watch Series 10, I would say is better overall than the Apple Watch SE 2 on the front side. On the right side, you're getting the power button, side button, and that digital crown as well. So that's something that's really cool that both these watches basically have there. You're getting the band selection, which we'll talk about in a second, which is basically the same exact thing. So there's not really that big of a difference from the bands. I mean, you can interchange them side by side. So that's something that's really cool. And you're getting the wireless charging capability on the backside as well. So definitely a lot of overlap here. There really isn't that big of a difference as far as I can tell, from the rest of the bodies. But the Apple Watch Series 10, few things. It's a smaller Apple Watch, so it's thinner. So it's not super thick like the Apple Watch SE 2. It is significantly thinner. You're also getting either the aluminum or titanium casing you can choose from. But if you get the SE 2, it only comes out in one size, which is that aluminum size. So it's really just one, type of build quality you're getting on the SE 2, where the Apple Watch Series 10 is giving you a little bit more capability when it comes down to it. So overall, what I'll tell you from the exterior side, definitely with the Apple Watch Series 10, it is a way better feeling Apple Watch than something like the Apple Watch SE 2, and it's built significantly better as well. Now, from the feature set inside, this is something that a lot of people kind of have to keep in mind, because with something like the Apple Watch SE 2 and Series 10, these are they're very different watches, right? The SE 2 came out a few years ago, but it's still being sold by Apple. The big thing I could probably tell the average person to kind of think about here is that with something like the Apple Watch Series 10, this is a watch that's going to be giving you more features. It's going to be giving you the ECG app built in. Both are giving you high and low heart rate notifications, but it is nice that something like the Apple Watch Series 10 is giving you that ECG application built right in, which again is a very nice thing to have. Both have sleep tracking, but the Apple Watch Series 10 has sleep apnea notifications, which is really cool. Both have vitals apps featuring heart rate and respiratory rate, but the Apple Watch Series 10 supports sleep duration and wrist temperature, where the SE 2 only supports sleep duration. You're also getting temperature sensing, obviously inside of the Apple Watch Series 10, which is really cool. So almost every single thing the Apple Watch SE 2 can do, the Apple Watch Series 10 can do, but better. 50-meter water resistance on both, GPS on both as well as you could probably expect. Even the same battery life is rated on both up to 18 hours, but the Series 10 is giving you up to 36 hours in the low power mode, which is really, really nice. And even with the S8 chip inside of the Apple Watch SE 2, that's a good chipset, but the Series 10, by giving it that S10 chipset, is going to be a little bit better here. So what I'm trying to say is that, for the average person out there, for everything I'm going to do on my Apple Watch, my Apple Watch Series 4 that I'm still using is perfectly fine, right? Like I have a really good time with that watch, and I haven't really had too many issues with that watch throughout the last couple of years. Like I still think it's a really good watch. That just means that the Apple Watch SE 2, Apple Watch Series 10, these watches are going to be significantly better for the average person. For everything you're probably going to do, you're not really going to run into too many problems, and I think that's a really big thing to keep in mind here. So, in my personal opinion, that's just kind of one of those things to keep in mind, and I love both these watches, but definitely with something like the Apple Watch SE 2, it's a very, very good watch for the price, but the Apple Watch Series 10 is way better, and I probably would go and upgrade from the SE 2 to the Series 10, but if you want to save some money, you can go from an Apple Watch SE 2 to an Apple Watch Series 8 or Series 9 in the used market and get a really good watch for probably around the same price as the Apple Watch SE 2 in the brand new market. So that kind of covers it up there for the most part. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.